Okay, so it's been about a year since I did a video on my prepper pantry. So I thought I'd do an update. It's August of 2020. We're in the middle of this pandemic. And I thought I'd just go through and talk a little bit about what I got, why I got it, how I got it, and how I store it. So starting with this toilet paper, we had 300 rolls of this going into the pandemic, so no problem. And we didn't have to go searching for it, and we didn't buy any for a few months. And then just recently, once it started coming back into stock, I went ahead and added about another 100 rolls. So we got that going. So next up is the freeze-dried food. So I picked up this Mountain House in a big bulk order where I got 400 number 10 cans at $23 a can, January of 2019. So now, a year and a half later, it's $50 a can. This stuff has doubled in price in a year and a half. And folks, it's gonna get worse before it gets better, because we got some food shortages on the horizon, along with all kinds of other potential problems, right? So people used to ask all the time, why are you storing all this food? And people don't ask me that too much anymore. Okay, so let's talk about the canned food. So every year I put out my own garden and I grow about 1,000 pounds of food, mostly potatoes and green beans, but I do grow a lot of other stuff too. But put out a big garden, plant it, take care of it, hill the potatoes, keep it weeded as much as possible, and then you harvest it up, and then you go through the whole canning process. Everything has to be cleaned, cut, and put through the canning process, and then I end up with about 300 quarts a year, mostly potatoes and green beans. You see here, look at that. Doesn't that look great? Oh yeah, very healthy too. These are stored in here, and they're pretty dark. This is an air-conditioned room, climate controlled, and these should last 5 years, I'd say, in here, and they have been lasting 5 years, maybe longer. I also do about 60 pounds of chicken. Doesn't look so good, but it tastes great. Stuff just shreds and makes really good chicken and rice, amongst other things. Try to go through the chicken every 2 years. I don't know how long it would last, probably 4 or 5 years, I don't know. But this is the ground beef, canned beef. Same thing, about 60 pounds of that every year. So that's all in here. I think we've finished up the 2019 stuff now. But yeah, big garden, and can your own stuff. Probably have, I don't know if I said it, 800 quarts or so stored in here. Some of it's getting a little older. I'm gonna have to burn this up quick. I used to, when I first started doing this, I did not want to open these because it's so hard. It's so much work to grow your own food, can it all up yourself, that by the time you get it done, I was looking at this like this is $50 worth of work right here. So I didn't want to open them. Well, now they're starting to get old, so now I'm going to change my ways and just start burning them up. All right, let's go to the next one. Of course, we have the store-bought canned food, and this stuff lasts for a really long time. Actually, some people say that you could eat this stuff just like 20 years later, but I don't know. I think, again, probably 5 years is good to rotate through this stuff. And I probably wouldn't have that much of this type of canned food, except for if you look at the current situation of food in our country. Things aren't looking too good in terms of food shortages. So that's why I do keep a little extra on board. If you haven't seen this before, this is a rotating rack that I built, and I have a video that shows how it's made. But basically, you pull it off from this end, everything rolls down, and when you do your grocery shopping, you just, you pop it in this end, right? And there you go. Automatically rotates all your stuff. This thing is hold about 1,000 cans, so it's good for maybe 10, 20 people. I've only got it about half full, but that's pretty cool. I've been using that for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years now or so. And we got the freezer. And I've done videos on all this stuff, so I won't do all the details, but I'll say the number one thing, if you're gonna have a freezer like this, is don't overpack it, right? So if you've got a freezer and the thing is just full of just stuff and you can't even dig into it, that's just going to go bad. Stuff in the bottom is going to be freezer burned. You don't even know what you got down there. And I've noticed that when I've had this a lot fuller than this, is I start losing track of what I got. So you're better off keeping it, this is not completely full, right? But I can get to anything in here super fast, and I also do this bins, which make it super organized. So I know exactly what I got, just a quick glance in here, and hash browns, these type of frozen dinners are pretty good. You got stuff from the garden down there. That's all fish, frozen chicken, different types of meats, hot dogs. Oh, whoa, bacon, and under there's the chicken. I also need to defrost this guy. But again, it's like having these tubs, super organized, easy to see what you got, and keeping it, don't overfill it. That's all. All right. So the freezer and everything else in our house runs off of this solar power. I've got a complete series on how I built this, and you can go check that out if you're interested. I will say this, guys. Now, this is what you need to run your house. Okay, this was $20,000, and I built it myself. So if you went out and bought this thing, had it installed, it'd probably be double that. So that's the bad news. This is what it takes to run your house. Okay. These little solar generators that put out 1,000 watts and they have 2 kilowatt hours, they're great if you have nothing else. You can run your lights, you can even run your refrigerator overnight. But if we get into a situation where you have no power for a month or a year, forget it. Okay, I ain't gonna cut it. This will run half of our house indefinitely. All right, I won't harp on this anymore, but I just want you to know, don't think that these little solar generators are going to run your house. They're not. Okay? So that's all I got to say about that. Now, let's look over here. What a mess, right? Well, I did organize my stuff into these bins. So mainly this is for house flipping. So this is like electrical. If we're doing electrical, I just grab this whole bin, take it to the house we're working on, and it's got everything in there. Plugs, switches, covers, whatever. But this is a good way you can organize your stuff in your house, paint, plumbing, lights, whatever you got. It's pretty neat, organized, and instead of having things spread out through 20 drawers in your house, you get it all in one place. Let's go back over here. All right, let's talk about the water. All right, I've been over this a bunch of times, but we have a well, and the well is the answer. That if you're out in the country and you can do a well, then that is the way to go. Right now, if you're in the city, you got different problems, and probably number one thing is get out of the city. But anyway, we have a well, and we have multiple ways to run the well. So if the power goes out, we got solar, batteries, generators, all that kind of stuff. But we do have a little bit of bottled water here. A lot of this is for my battery bank, like this. But yeah, a few gallons. I've got a Berkey on order. It's a backup, so we can always filter water if we have to. And we do have a swimming pool with about 30,000 gallons in it, so that can be used for bathing, flushing toilets, all that kind of stuff. So we're really not worried about water. We're in pretty good shape. I think if I was going to do anything else, I might do a rain collection system off of our barn, because, you know, why not, right? Just one more way we could use it to water the garden if we had to. All right, so that's all I'm going to say about water. This is probably the same as last time. Got a few things. I have picked up a little bit more on just, you know, basic stuff. I don't like getting too much of the stuff though, because you have to rotate it and it goes bad. It's just too much to have to worry about all the time. Better off with the freeze-dried food. You know, the freeze-dried food really is just a bridge to self-sustainability should something go wrong, you know. I mean, we're not even going to crack that open in a hurricane, right? But if you get some SHTF situation where you're down for a year, 2, 3, this is the bridge that allows you to eat while you're figuring out how to grow your own food. And we've been doing that for 5 years now, and I would say a complete novice. After 5 years, I don't know hardly anything about growing food. I learn every year, I learn a new way that nature eats my lunch. And that's what you got to do. You got to figure it out. The bugs, you're in competition with the bugs and the diseases and the deer and everything else that's out for your beans. Yeah, so the sooner you get started on that, the better. Because I don't care how much you put away. Everything in this room is only going to last 6 months to a year for my group. So you got to be able to, you know, grow your own food. All right, so this is just all my canning stuff. I picked up a backup one of these. I'm starting to think backups, guys. Yes, I have one. I'm getting a backup. What if it breaks? I don't have a backup canner yet. It's kind of expensive, but I got that one. And look at all these lids. Luckily, I stocked up on these when you could still buy them. Yeah, I'm sorry to say. I mean, making this video is kind of, in a way, it's like, yeah, this is all the stuff I did a year ago, and now I don't even know if you can do it. I don't know where you're gonna. It took me a month to find these. This is all I got. This is all the spare stuff I got right here. I got one more 12-pack in the house. Everything else is full. And I probably could use some more stuff. All right, let's look at some of the other stuff I got in here. It's just vegetable oils, olive oils, and various things. I did pick up quite a bit more sugar. This stuff lasts forever, and I've got it vac sealed into quart jars. Although I'm not sure that should be vacuum sealed. It's safer in here, but I don't know what it does to the sugar. So maybe not vacuum seal that. Salt. Picked up some more salt. That bucket's full, and I got these. Got some more in the other room. I did add another 100 rolls of TP. Laundry detergents, just all the stuff that you're gonna eventually need, right? The nice thing about this, I bought all this stuff over a period of probably 2 years, and I bought it all at half price. So I got this stuff cheap. I'm running low on them. I'm gonna get down to 4 of these now, and I never see these for sale. You guys see these anywhere? I haven't seen these in months. Baby wipes, you can make your own. Add the right stuff. This thing's been sitting here for a while now. It's just pool chlorine. I need to put that somewhere else. What else we got? Oh, hey, who knows what this is, right? Now, the average person on the street would say that's a garbage can. But what do you think, huh? No, preppers know what that is, don't you? Okay, so up here, garbage bags. We're on low. I don't know where they went. I know we didn't use them all. I think they got stolen for something else, and I know what. But I have picked up more of the freezer bags, aluminum foil, good stuff. I'd like to get some more canning jars, but I mean, really we're pretty good on them. We probably have close to 1,000. Yeah, all that good stuff. Canning salt, all these tools for canning. I have some backups now. Got about 5 gallons of vinegar. Bunch of junk. What's on this side? We already did this side. All right, let's go look in the other room. Okay, so let's just see what else we got here. We got just some random stuff. Canned goods, Pregos, tomato stuff, ketchup, A1, yum sauce. Yeah, various stuff. Oh, and back here, store some rice back here. I got about 20 gallons of rice. I like storing rice in these half-gallon canning jars, and they're vacuum sealed. So I can show you how I vacuum seal these up in another video. I think this is a really good way to store rice because nothing can get to it, and you know, keeps them nice. It's all back in here. I also keep it in 5-gallon buckets, but I like this much better. And what do we got? Oh, that's just overflow. And then here we got some of the medical stuff overflow. I keep this in a different place, but there's Band-Aids and stuff. This is good for, you can make your own wipes and things. Make your own hand sanitizer. Yeah, so I'll take this and put it in the freezer for about 4 days, kill off anything, and just pack it in these half-gallon jars and seal it up with the vac sealer. Okay, so this is our working pantry right off the kitchen, and here I just got breakfast stuff like oatmeals and fruits, cereals, pancake stuff. And then down here we got all the pastas, and these are all vacuum sealed into these quart jars. So these things will last for years this way. I've got a video that shows how I do that. I can link all that below. We got some mac and cheese. And we come down here with soups. We got all the soups are on the rolling rack, but we keep a few out here. More stuff back there. Here's more rice. And some more of these Mountain House flavors. And then on the bottom we got the cat and dog food, which I need to come up with a better way of sealing this up for sure. So something to work on. Alright, let's take a quick look at the flour. Keep the flour in these quart jars. They're not vacuum sealed. I don't think it's good for the flour or for the vacuum sealer, but you can do what you want. Over here is sugar that we're using for coffee, mostly. And just regular stuff is in here, you know, baking, cakes, mixes, and sugar, brown sugar. Just the regular stuff. Okay, so in summary, I kind of break it down into just a few pieces, right? You have the long-term food storage, the Mountain House, freeze-dried food. Lasts for 30 years, you don't have to worry about it. And if SHTF happens, it's a bridge into more of a homesteading type of a situation where you have gardening and canning and raising animals, chickens, rabbits, all this kind of stuff. And we've started down that path a little bit. Still have a long ways to go. I see these other folks growing stuff on YouTube, and like, boy, I don't think I'll ever be that good, but I sure would like to team up with you. And all the canning stuff, all the canned goods, storing all this stuff out here, about 800 quarts. Got a well, water, and you have your sort of normal things that you just rotate through, and you don't want to get too deep on that stuff because it can just go bad. Same thing on the canned goods. And the freezer, you know, you can freeze a lot of stuff. You got to have a backup source of power if you're going to do this, and then you got to think in terms of powering it for a year, not just for a week. You know, the generators will get you through a week or two, but if you really want to have power for years to come, you need to think, you got to bite the bullet and get into something like this. You know, this is 8,000 watts continuous and maybe 20 kilowatt hours of usable backup battery. All right, so that's kind of the gist of it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.